Hey people, it is Sunday, March the 27th, and the time is 12:31 in the afternoon, and the temperature is a very chilly -6 degrees Celsius with a wind chill in the minus teens. And yes, we also got more snow today. The return of wintry conditions, which I was not expecting, but like I said earlier in one of my previous videos, it was not something I would be surprised to come back before spring really kicks in for good. And I'm here on Dupont Street right now, and I'm heading west, and I'll be walking through the Junction neighborhood, which we'll be coming into shortly. Crossing Symington Avenue. And yeah, I'm not very happy with these weather conditions. But what can I do? Might as well take advantage of the unexpected return of winter in the form of some videos. And a couple of months ago, this sort of weather would have been perfectly fine, and I wouldn't have complained too much. But now that we've had a taste of spring, with temperatures in the teens, going back to sub-zero temperatures feels almost unbearably cold. Hey there, doggy. So this is the far western end of Dupont Street. Sort of a stretch of gritty commercial storefronts. And this stretch has seen better days. Most of these storefronts aren't even being used for commercial purposes anymore, or they're vacant, or converted to residential in some cases. And the ones that are occupied with commercial uses are a bit rough around the edges, I guess you could say. There are some coffee shops here and there, such as right here. Once we come into the Junction, though, on Dundas Street West, you'll find that the commercial strip through that area is quite thriving and successful. Whereas this stretch here definitely needs a little help. Maybe in the future it will become more popular. There's another big dog. Well, this restaurant here seems to be doing good business. It was quite full of people as I walked past. Man, Rancho Relaxo to go. There's a place where I can try a burrito. I see they have burritos on their menu. There's the West Toronto Rail Path. I got to do a walk along that. That's something I might keep in mind for future walks. There's a rail corridor. And we'll be entering the junction there as soon as we come around the bend. This is where Dupont Street comes to an end up ahead here. And then Dundas Street West. We'll loop around coming from the south where it kind of veers to the west up here. I'm not sure what the situation is here for pedestrians. This was not really set up for people to walk on this side of the street at all. There's no proper sidewalk. I probably should have stayed on the other side, but oh well, too late now. Oh, try not to slip. Of course, we have these nice, slippery, snowy, icy conditions here, which is just perfect for potential accidents involving cars and myself, but it looks like I made it. That's looking, I want to say east, but it's not really east. As I mentioned, Dundas Street curves quite a bit through this area. And I remember why I hate this intersection so much. Last time I was stuck waiting here for an inordinate amount of time trying to get across the street. Right. And finally, I'm actually start heading into the main commercial stretch of the Junction along Dundas Street West. Here's a new residential complex. Not sure how tall this one will be. I can see actually a rendering there. Looks like it'll be a mid-rise building called Junction House. Looks to be about 8 or 9 floors. Well, on the bright side, by the middle of the coming week, the temperatures will be back up into the teens again. So dare I say that this might be the last hurrah of winter. Although I think I've said that before. And here we are, in the heart of the Junction. Once upon a time, this was an independent town called West Toronto. And it was also a designated dry neighborhood for decades, where alcohol was prohibited from being sold in local establishments. But obviously that's no longer the case. And the neighborhood went into some neglect for a while in the 80s and 90s and into the 2000s before it started becoming revitalized. And now it's quite a popular neighborhood. Gentrification has transformed many of the storefronts here. Not too many people out on the streets today, though. I think people are hibernating today, going back into winter mode, at least for this day. And here's Keele Street. And I'd say that this really does have the look of a small town main street more than some other commercial strips in the city. The scale of the buildings is a little bit grander than you see on long stretches of Bloor Street or the Danforth. It looks sort of like the type of main street you'd find in a small Ontario city of around 50,000 people or so. And the wind chill here is quite nasty, I have to say. And the far western stretch of the junction on Dundas Street here is also known as Little Malta. And in my recent video through Greektown, I was naming off a lot of the ethnic neighborhoods in the city, and I didn't mention Little Malta at that time. Just goes to show how many there are. There's also a little Ukraine on Bloor Street West, in the neighborhood more often regarded or referred to as Bloor West Village. There's the Junction Fromagerie. That's a sure sign that a neighborhood has gentrified when they have a cheese shop for artisanal cheeses. And there's also a Gabby's, because every neighborhood in the city has a Gabby's. I've mentioned that before. Doesn't matter what type of neighborhood, or whether it's upscale or downscale, there will be a Gabby's. We have West Toronto Baptist Church with the name of the former town still being used. I'm sure there's some other businesses and locales that use the West Toronto name. Dundas Pizza. There are so many of these independent pizza places around the city that I'll probably never get around to trying, and I'm sure many of them are quite good. I've only tried a handful of them that are mostly around the downtown area. Here's another one here. And a neighborhood bookstore. have my hood up to keep my head warm because I didn't bring my hat today. And the wind is doing its darndest to try and blow my hood off my head. And speaking of Little Malta, here we have Malta Park. There they are. You can pause that to read if you like. And that wind is trying to kill me. And the commercial strip is starting to peter out here. It becomes a lot more choppy as you head further east. A lot more gappy. So I think I'll just take us up to the next major intersection and I'll wrap up this video. And I'll try to warm up a little bit. And then I will start another video right after. And that'll be that for today. So I hope you enjoyed the walk through the Junction and also the Little Malta neighborhood and the more westerly portions. Leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts. And be sure to like and share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And the wind just blew my hood off. It finally did it. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal and via my merch store. And you can also find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue.